But I do want to make an illustrated book of idioms. I wanted to have our homie Shane, the guy who did that Goober stuff a while ago.
Shane.
Yeah, remember those Goobers posters that we did?
Oh, yes, I
He's
do.
the illustrator dude.
Oh, he did a good job.
He's cool. Yeah, I wanted to have him do like the book of idioms. I had a bunch of them written out,
Mm-hmm.
but it just kind of that's. I should pick that up again, dude. It was a cool one.
Yeah, it's funny how like there's always like these weird ideas. They're not even weird ideas. They're like cool ideas that you're like, oh, cool. I'm gonna start devoting time and energy into this, and then they just kind of go by the wayside. Like I
Yeah.
was thinking about doing a coffee table book too, of all the Phoenix Theater graffiti. Now
Should.
it's kind of tough because, I didn't save any of those photos. And another thing, and I actually had a couple people that I reached out to help me like find who some of these artists are, because I didn't know a lot of these people. But a lot of that scene just kind of turned me off.
Graffiti.
Yeah, just some of the people involved.
Yeah, because there's a lot of shitty people in that scene,
Well,
right?
it's a weird scene because it's like some of the people are fucking awesome. They're cool as fuck. Like I
Yeah, but it's
love.
kind of like the punk rock scene. Like, there's a lot of cool people, but like
No, it's
the
better than that. It's way better than that. Punk rock scene was like
where like the shitty people are just so shitty that it turns you off to the whole scene.
no, I just
Yeah.
I think that really like my mouth got me in trouble too with a couple of these people, because especially there was one person in particular that I would love to have a conversation with, but I just feel like I can't because he's so emotional about the whole situation. And granted, like I get it, like it was one of his best friends that died, and my comments publicly were not kind.
What did you say?
I said, "Oh, he was one of the most miserable people I've ever met in my entire life. I hope he's finally at peace."
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
When if you hear somebody say that secondhand, and it's your best bud that just died,
Yeah.
how would you take that? You'd be fucking
My
pissed,
friend was miserable or not?
dude. And like that's a thing. Like, I know because I said that a couple times to some people because it was somebody that me and you knew.
Yeah.
And he was the most miserable fuck I've ever met in my entire life.
I know who
and
you're
he was
talking about.
yeah, and he was an asshole to me
Yeah.
our entire lives. He was
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
to me one time, but he was miserable, and I never really had anything against the guy ever, but he sure had a lot of shit against me, and I always felt like it was unwarranted. I mean, he could never explain it either, which I always found to be funny, because there was a couple times we went nose to nose.
Yeah, dude, he was just always shitty.
Yeah, and so
But he
I
was
said,
like shitty in general too. Like on top of being oddly shitty to you, he was just kind of like
yeah, he was shitty to everybody.
he was like cool to me later in our lives, but I remember, growing up, he was just always
fucking dick.
super negative, dude.
Yeah. So one of his buddies like found out I said that shit, and I know that he wasn't too happy with me. I always wanted to have a conversation with him and just be like, "Yo, so and so, like let's talk this out because I know you're raw about this. I never had any ill will towards this person, and I have no ill will towards you. So why is there all of a sudden this tension between me and you? There should not be, and I'd like to clear it up." And I wanted to, but I moved, so it was kind
Should
of
have
like
just sent him the
43.
Chicago song "I'm a Man Who Will Fight for Your Honor."
Yeah, that's a good song. Yeah, Peter Cetera era.
You're like, dude, why this song represents what you're trying to do right now?
Yeah, but that whole scene, the graffiti scene it's interesting because it's a lot cooler than the punk scene because a lot of these guys are artists that like we respect a lot. And we come from this, we're in like me and you and these guys to a certain extent are cut from the same cloth, We listen to the same shit, we hung out at the same places, hung out with the same people, ran in similar crews, did similar shit. Granted, like the level of like legality might have been a little different, but either way, like we kind of ran the same crews. So, but the thing is like a lot of these guys are just like, it's this weird mix of like, especially in graffiti, it's like high art. So you get this like high art butthurt, kind of high art butthurt thing mixed with like criminal. So it's this weird
Right.
kind of like, you got this like person that's like loves and respects and can can actually make high art, but is also a criminal at the same time. It's